No one saw the end coming because nothing exploded. No alarms screamed across the void. No weapons discharged. The Armada entered the Aurelian expanse in perfect formation. Thousands of warships forged across a dozen star empires, all confident that dominance was measured in firepower. They expected resistance. They expected defiance. What they did not expect was silence. The fleet that waited for them did not block their paths. It did not raise shields or lock weapons. It simply existed, spread thin across the dark like a web of faint stars. Scanners showed nothing remarkable, no exotic energy signatures, no superweapons, no dreadnought cores. The Armada commanders laughed. Then navigation failed. One by one, the Armada's ships began drifting off course, not violently, not catastrophically, but gently, as if nudged by an unseen tide. Quantum anchors slipped. Jump coordinates desynchronized. Entire wings found themselves unable to agree on where they were in space. Orders transmitted cleanly but arrived meaningless, each ship receiving a version of reality slightly different from the next. The waiting fleet never moved. It did not need to. Within minutes, the Armada's greatest strength, coordination, became its greatest weakness. Ships collided at fractional velocities that still tore hulls apart. Defensive formations collapsed into chaos. Not a single hostile act was detected, yet losses mounted faster than in any recorded battle. Observers across neutral systems watched in disbelief as the Armada unraveled itself. Sensors confirmed the impossible truth. No shots had been fired. No weapons had been used. The question echoed across every surviving channel, whispered by admirals and shouted by civilians. Who built the fleet that could erase an Armada without firing first? The first clues were found not in wreckage, but in maths. Surviving analysts discovered that physical laws within the expanse had not been broken, only interpreted differently. The silent fleet had not attacked the Armada. It had redefined the battlefield. Their ships emitted fields so subtle they escaped military doctrine entirely. Gravitational harmonics tuned to probabilities rather than mass. Causality dampeners that smoothed the future instead of predicting it. Navigation itself had been weaponized. Historians began digging into forbidden archives. Old trade records. Forgotten colonization failures. Civilizations that vanished without war or plague. Patterns emerged. Long ago, before hyperspace lanes were standardized, a species had learned the cost of violence too well. They had fought wars that shattered star systems, wars where victory poisoned the winners as surely as the defeated. So they changed. They abandoned conquest and instead mastered prevention. Not peace through weakness, but peace through inevitability. They studied how conflicts began, how fleets moved, how fear cascaded through command structures. Then they designed systems that made aggression collapse under its own weight. These architects erased their own name from history. Not out of shame, but strategy. A known enemy could be challenged. An unknown principle could not. Their fleet was not built to fight. It was built to end the need to fight. Every hull was a theorem. Every formation a proof. War entered their space and found nothing to push against. As the Armada fell apart, a single transmission was received by every surviving ship. It did not demand surrender. It did not threaten annihilation. It simply stated facts. You have reached the limit of acceptable force. Further advance will result in total operational failure. Retreat is advised. Panic spread faster than any weapon. Commanders ordered emergency jumps, only to discover jump drives required stable consensus between probability states. Consensus they no longer had. Some captains tried to fire anyway. Weapons discharged into empty space, missing targets that existed a fraction of a second ahead or behind normal time. The silent fleet remained untouched, not because it was invulnerable, but because it was never where the Armada assumed it was. At last, the truth set in. They were not being defeated. They were being corrected. The Armada limped away in fragments, half its ships lost, the rest permanently altered by systems they did not understand. Every empire involved issued the same classified conclusion. Traditional warfare was obsolete, and the fleet that had waited in silence vanished as it had arrived, without pursuit, without celebration. Its mission was complete the moment aggression failed. In the centuries that followed, no coalition attempted mass invasion again. Borders were negotiated before fleets were built. Threats were reconsidered before declarations were made. Scholars taught the event not as a battle, but as a turning point in thought. The moment the galaxy learned that power did not have to announce itself, that the most decisive victories leave no ruins to mourn. No monuments were raised to the silent fleet. No statues bore the faces of its builders. Yet their influence shaped every treaty, every defensive doctrine, every cautious step into the unknown. Children learned the story under a different name. The day war forgot how to begin. And somewhere beyond mapped space, the architects continued watching, not as conquerors, not as guardians, but as quiet custodians of a truth the galaxy had learned the hard way. That the most terrifying fleet is not the one that fires first, but the one that makes firing meaningless,